Hey frugivore, so today's video is about the hidden belly fat inside your cells, or lipotoxicity. And it's something that no one seems to be talking about, and it really is a huge problem, pun intended. So when most people think of belly fat, they think of the stuff you can pinch, right? That's hanging over your jeans and that kind of pouch that you're trying to flatten. But there's another kind of fat that is actually far more dangerous. And people just don't even think about it. It's far less talked about. It's a fat hiding inside your cells, lipotoxicity. It doesn't sit on your waistline. It clogs up your muscle cells, your pancreas cells, your liver cells, and silently screws your metabolism from the inside out, basically. And it really, really switches off your fat burning ability. So here's an analogy which hopefully makes the whole situation a lot clearer. So here's how it works. You have trillions of cells in your body, and each one is like a tiny room. And each one of those tiny rooms has a light. And that light needs to stay on. It needs to stay powered. And what powers that light is sugar, aka glucose. But in order to get into the room and power that light, the sugar needs to be let in because there's a lock on each one of these doors. So that's where insulin, or the doorman, comes in. So the doorman helps open that door and lets sugar get into the room and power that light and keep that light bright and going. But the problem comes when you eat too much fat. Fat, on the other hand, can get into the cell. It doesn't need insulin to open the door. So when you eat a lot of fat, it's like a hoarder who comes and hoards heaps of junk, like outside your room or cell, outside the room, inside the room. And then this actually makes it impossible for the doorman to help the sugar into the cell. So there's all this fat hoarding going on and basically toxifying the cell. Or then we have this lipotoxicity. So it's an abnormal accumulation of fat within these cells. So as a result, sugar is locked out into the bloodstream, and then sugar builds up in the bloodstream. It can't get into the cell, can't fuel you, can't power your light. So it just stays in the bloodstream because there's all this fat blocking the door and blocking the hallway. And this is what leads to glucose drag, where the blood sugar stays elevated for an extended period of time because of the fat. It's not because of the sugar. You take away that sugar, you have no fuel, you have no power to your light. And if you take away the excess fat, it all works completely as it should. Your blood sugar spikes and comes down. And this is exactly why people become insulin resistant, overweight, type 2 diabetic. And it really is a double-edged sword, because when the insulin is elevated, like it is during this glucose drag, because, the pancreas is pumping out a lot of insulin to try and bring that sugar down, but it can't because of the fat, then lipolysis is switched off as well, or fat burning. And your body is actually more primed for fat storage. So in that state, your body is more likely to store fat. I mean, this is why diets such as keto diet are such a disaster. On the outside, it could look good as far as, flat blood sugar graphs, no spikes, but that flat line is famine physiology, basically. Flat lines are not usually associated with life, are they? And that's the case here. You've just starved yourself of carbs. And then the moment you try to eat a banana or have some sugar, the sugar can't get into the cells. So your blood sugar spikes and stays elevated outside the room. And then you have these clueless keto influencers like the keto Dr. Boz, then saying, see, it was the fruit did it. But obviously she's heading for insulin resistance if she's not there already. Remember, it's not the height of the spike that matters the most. It's the area under the curve, or how long sugar drags in your blood. In a lipotoxic body, sugar can linger for 4 or 5 hours or more. That's glucose drag. The damage isn't from the spike or the sugar, it's from that drag. Okay, it's from the excess fat. Meanwhile, sugar itself has been saving lives all along. It's funny, isn't it, that hospitals don't put patients on dairy drips or bacon infusions. They use sugar water and saline because every cell in your body runs on sugar. So, of course, it's going to help power you when you are ill, and also help increase that hydration through the sodium glucose transport system. I mean, This sugar water keeps people alive, literally. This is why belly fat is so hard to shift for so many people. The stuff you can pinch is only half the story. The real block is the hoarder fat inside your cells. Until you kick him out, sugar can't get in. Your metabolism will stay sluggish, jammed, and your body will just run on stress basically instead of real sweet energy. And again, that's why people get addicted to the burnout brew. They don't have enough real energy coming in. And here's the part no one will tell you. Adding straight white sugar, yes, plain sugar, or what I like to call sun crystals, to meals in a low-fat context, that's important, actually helps in this whole equation. Why? Because it crushes the desire for fatty foods. This is so important. It helps switch off what I call foraging mode. Instead of scavenging around for cheese and chocolate, that dense stuff, fried junk food, you're satisfied. Your fat intake naturally begins to drop. Your energy comes up. You want to move more. And you begin clearing lipotoxicity meal by meal. This doesn't just happen overnight. You've got to stick with it. It takes some time, but it's well worth it. And I talk all about this in my 12-month course and in my fruit-based books. You should definitely join us and check out my books, okay? Because you can change your life starting right now, today, and actually mobilize that deep belly fat. So let's be clear. The hidden belly fat inside your cells, this lipotoxicity, is the real enemy. Not bananas, not sugar spikes. Spikes are normal, they're healthy, and actually protective when you're not lipotoxic. And the true danger here is glucose drag, sugar trapped outside while the hoarder blocks the door. Fruit is a fix, sugar is a solution, lipotoxicity is the problem. And a lot of you are likely experiencing this today. So you need to reduce the amount of fat in your diet drastically. I recommend, 5% of daily calories at least until you get this lipotoxicity under control. Join us in the 12-month community and you'll learn so much more.